Britain has pledged to send 120,000 drones to Ukraine in the UK's biggest ever aid package of its kind. Now, the pledge came at a meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group hosted here in Berlin by the German Defense Minister, Boris Pistorius. Senior officials from Ukraine and NATO, as well as the UK, attended. Drones are shaping the battlefield in Ukraine, with Kyiv reporting numerous Russian setbacks. All right, our chief political correspondent, Nina Hase, she's covering this story for us. Nina, good to see you. Ukraine, heavily reliant, we know, on military and financial support from its partners, particularly Germany. How significant is the support coming out of this meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group?
Well, Brent, Ukraine, as you know, is now in its fifth year of defending itself against Russia's war of aggression against the sovereign country. And its partners have been helping support it with military and financial means. And a coalition of the willing then set up this group to coordinate what Ukraine needs and to look at who has what to offer, who can help out with ammunition, who can help out with drones, who has big tanks, etc. And so that group was originally coordinated by the US, but then Donald Trump pulled out and Germany and the UK took over this coordination. So this meeting serves several purposes. It takes place every 2 months, either in Germany or the UK at the moment, and is a hybrid meeting with all the partners, and Ukraine's requirements are discussed and coordinated. And actually, Ukraine's defense minister took stock today. He thanked a few countries for fresh aid packages, but he also criticized that not all of the aid that was promised at the last meeting had arrived yet. But this meeting also serves the purpose, of course, of sending out strong pictures like we saw of allies standing by Ukraine's side. And that is, of course, a big reminder to people that the other big crisis area, the Middle East, is not the only big crisis area with global impact.
I know that Germany has launched a massive effort to ramp up its defense capabilities. Is that boosting of its own defense sector? Is it also benefiting Ukraine?
Yes, it is, and we saw that today. Germany, yes, it has given itself a very big special defence package. It's also exempted defence spending from budgetary deficit rules, and that at a time when everybody else, all the other ministries, are having to make cuts. And Germany is aware that it needs to catch up and fast when it comes to the military. Friedrich Merz, the Chancellor, wants to build Europe's strongest army. You know that Germany reduced military spending since the end of the Cold War, then suspended conscription. But of course, in light of new geopolitical realities, very specific hybrid attacks that are happening that can be attributed to Russia at the moment, as well as that looming scenario that Russia could well be in a position to attack a NATO country by the end of this decade, all of that has brought Germany to ramp up. And at the same time, Germany says, if you're building or rebuilding a strong modern military, who better to learn from than Ukraine? So there are very specific partnerships going on between German companies and Ukrainian companies, and a strategic partnership was signed this week in Berlin.
And a question here for Germany and for all of Ukraine's allies. Have the countries supporting Ukraine's defense, have they been able to compensate for the reduced commitment that we've seen from the United States under President Trump?
You know what's interesting, Brent? Always at these meetings is that there is one big elephant in the room, and that is the reduced commitment from the US, or that position that the US has on Ukraine and Russia. And I've been following this meeting for quite some time now. Of course, Mark Rutte has a very difficult role to play. He needs to keep the US engaged and somehow interested in Ukraine, but at the same time, he can't be too provocative. And this meeting today happened just hours after Vice President J.D. Vance in Washington actually said that stopping funding for Ukraine is one of the things that he's proudest that he's done in this administration. And so all the allies are saying they need the aid that has already been promised by the US to continue and not be diverted to, say, the Middle East. And when he was asked about that, NATO Secretary General said that he was optimistic that that can continue.
All right, GW's Nina Hase with the latest from right here in the German capital. Nina, as always, thank you.